It's really important for you to become okay with your own one.
We invest so much time in getting our career. We invest so much time in learning styles so we can look good. But what we don't do is invest time in learning how to love ourselves.
And we're going to talk about something so valuable when it comes to attraction in general, and that's the scarcity mindset, right? And I see that in the scarcity mindset, we're in a state of fear. And when we're in a state of fear, we lose control. And this is what I want to talk about in today's video of overcoming the scarcity mindset and why this ruins your relationships and how to control it. So let's get started. So the first thing I want to give you in regards to a tip is you have to understand, why is this happening to you, right? So what we do is we go into a level of thinking, I'm the victim, right? And why is this happening to me? And I'm the victim, and I'm going to lose this person, and I'm going to mess up, and I'm not enough. And we go into this state of thinking, but scarcity goes deeper than the surface. And we got to figure out the root and why, right? Because a lot of time, scarcity thinking comes up in order for us to turn to something else that we've ignored, right? So figuring out when you're there, why is this happening? Why is this happening to me? Like literally write it on a piece of paper and say, why are you thinking like this? I'm thinking like this because I'm scared to lose her. Why are you scared to lose her? Because I love her. Okay, you answer because I love her. Okay, but do you love yourself, right? Yes, I love myself. Okay, well then, what makes you scared of losing her? What has happened in this relationship that you think that you're going to lose her? Has she showed up better? Has she showed up in this relationship for you? Does she want the same thing? Are we chasing a story? And you start analyzing why you're doing this. Because the scarcity mindset is influenced by fear. And when we get into fearful mindset thinking, we get into illusional thinking. We're not into reality. We get into the story of what I talk about, right? And so scarcity mindset is really, really important. So to understand that this comes up because of the rooted issue within you. There's also something else I want to mention here is finding your happiness internally and externally is going to help you with this, right? Because a lot of times we lean on other people and become dependent on someone else to validate our own existence, to validate our own happiness. And this is where relationships go so wrong. So many times people get into relationships because of the fact that they want someone to make them happy. But this is where toxic relationships happen. This is where things are horrible. This is where things are become manipulative. This is where things become, you lose yourself. Have you ever been in a relationship where you just felt like, oh my gosh, I just lost myself completely in that situation, in that relationship? Well, it's because we need to find internal and external happiness. And that's why I say all the time in my videos, it's really important for you to become okay with your own oneness. Once we become internally grateful and externally grateful, and we know who we are as a person, the world is our oyster. Let me tell you, we got women on lock. One of the biggest things is like women thrive. Women love men with abundance. Women love men that are just go-getters and that have that masculine presence, but understand that vulnerability can also be shared, right? Vulnerability takes strength, but vulnerability doesn't come from, I need to show vulnerability because it's an expense for someone or an expense for myself or added expense of someone else, right? If vulnerability is shared to be informative, right? With the willingness to walk away. Oh, you text your ex-boyfriend last night and we're together for 4 months. That's not the type of girl that I want to be with. I'm not too sure morally if we're on the same page. And that really hurt my feelings. And I was starting to fall in love with you, and this really took me back, and I'm completely hurt. That's vulnerability, to be informative. And now I got to reanalyze the situation. I need time and space. Now you valued yourself. Now you've put value within yourself, and you showed this woman that behavior is not okay. You're not like, okay, babe, why did you do this? And you get in that hamster wheel with her and start to enable the behavior, and you forgive her right away. And you're just like, okay, fine. So you enable the behavior, and mentally, sometimes people, not even women, humans, if we enable behavior subconsciously, we're telling someone it's okay. So we got to train people how we want to be treated, right? And so vulnerability doesn't happen in relationships. Closeness doesn't happen in relationships if there's no vulnerability, right? So one of the next things I want you to do is stop looking at things as the last resort, right? This woman is the only woman. I've never had a woman this beautiful before, Apollonia. She's so amazing. She's so this. She's so hot. She's so this. And I can't lose her. If I lose her, then I just don't know what I'm going to do with my life. Okay, that takes us back to tip 1, our happiness is dependent on someone else. Scarcity mindset literally comes when our happiness is dependent on someone else or something else, right? We need that person to feel validated. We need that person to feel special. Now, there's a difference between being in a healthy relationship, as far as like example, my healthy relationship. I need my man. Like, I need him to bring me up. Like, sometimes, even during this video, I was so frustrated with one of my cameras. He's like, babe, you need positive energy to do your video. Like, I need him. He is my support. He is my crutch. But we've been together for years and years that we've blossomed into that, and I can depend on him for that, right? But I know, for example, my own happiness is such the foundation for our relationship. If I am not happy, it doesn't mean life can't get in the way and I can't be depressed or anything like that. But if I literally not abide by our relationship values, respect, trust, and all that, I know that it's probably not the best benefit for me, right? So that's the thing, is like, my responsibility in order to abide by values is maintaining my own happiness. And this is to deliver my message for you guys, to do things that work in the world, right? And stop looking at things as last resort. Like, nothing is permanent in life. And when we can get comfortable with thinking like this, then and also thinking that everything is unknown. Maybe this relationship that you're head over heels with this woman, and it's really a bad relationship, and she's probably not showing up like you want her to, is also an opportunity for you to learn to get something greater in the future, right? We just can't see that. And that's why lessons happen in uncomfortable moments. Nothing is learned in comfortability. Everything is learned when we get uncomfortable. So that's really important, and stop thinking things in life are a last resort, because there's also an essence in understanding, if I get good with myself, everything else will come to me. Understanding also, last tip is understanding that control of others is what destroys your life. Like, talking about healthy control. Let's talk about that first. Healthy control is, what you put in your body, what your values are, what your boundaries are in relationships, what your standards are for yourself, and you living up to that. You can't say, I want trust in a relationship, and then you don't become a trustworthy man, and you hide your phone everywhere, and you just don't let the woman see anything. And there's something that she feels that you're hiding, and you avoid it all the time, but then you want trust. You have to lead by an example. And also too, when the example is not met, then this is when you question intentions. And you really dissect if this is a relationship for you, right? So when we start to get in dependency, when we start to get in attachment, is when we try to control other people, when we try to control others. And if this is something that happens, this is a root of codependency. I would really encourage you to download my product. It's called Break Free of Codependency. And this is a outstanding product, one of my best products that I've helped so many men with in personal development and breaking through of their codependency, which is so critical to your dating life. When we can stop controlling an outcome, like, is she going to find someone ever better? Does she like another guy besides me? And being okay with being like, remembering who you are as a person. There is a reason why this woman liked you in the first place, and don't forget that. And let that be your engine for dating. Let that be your engine for life. The scarcity mindset is only meant to hold us back. And it's within everybody. It's fear. And it's about being comfortable with it, with being comfortable with life, and understanding that scarcity and fear is an illusion of what we create, because either we're thinking in the future or we're thinking in the past, and we're not in the present moment. When we're in the present moment, we can really find value in understanding what our standards are and what our boundaries are. One of the biggest common denominators that I see in a high quality man is that they come from this mentality that they don't have to prove themselves, right? So when we get into a mentality like we have to qualify ourselves or we have to prove ourselves, gives that other person justification that probably we're not we're either inadequate or that we're trying to not only prove ourselves, but in turn, it shows that we feel like we don't deserve that person or that other person is more superior than us in some type of way. And attraction is rooted from not being able to prove yourself and having to prove yourself all the time. Attraction is rooted in the foundation of confidence, which is different metrics of confidence that I've talked about. And I'll put some videos below in the description box for you guys to watch next. So the number one thing is we look at, especially for me as a woman, is a man that doesn't have to prove himself to me, a man that has a plan really and has a foundational element of his life that he's very confident in himself, within his integrity, within his life. And this is such a big thing. And moving on to is a thing that I really love, and a lot of women, especially high quality women, a woman that is looking for a relationship or wants to have a healthy relationship, a companion that you can build something with, she's going to have standards, so you should have them as well. You see, there's a difference between a want and a need, right? We might want this beautiful girl. We want this beautiful girl to have this amazing body. But what is it that you need in a relationship? The wants are typically the exterior level, the surface level things that get you attracted to someone first, which is from our prefrontal cortex. But what is it that you need from relationships? So a lot of times we start to think, oh, my standards are that she has to be beautiful. Well, I would hope that you would want to be physically attracted to your woman, but that's not enough if you want to build a future with someone. What does she have to embody? Right? And also, how are you embodying these standards within yourself? Because if we're asking for something, we have to be able to implement these things in our lives too. We can't expect someone else to do it too. And also, we can do this by leading by example. So one of the biggest attractive things that I see with men is a man that has standards, meaning like, oh, he doesn't just give a chance to every woman, right? Or just because he has one opportunity with this one girl and he doesn't have any opportunities with women ever, he's going to take me. And then that comes into toxic relationships, codependency, and the list goes on. And I have a bunch of things about that. Tip number 3 in regards to a high value man and what you need in order to start embodying this. And also too, maybe these tips are speaking to you and you are that high value man. Next tip is a conscious mindset. So this man has a conscious mindset. So he understands the difference between self-awareness versus self-management and can implement the two. So a conscious mindset means that, right? A conscious mindset, and I'm gonna give you some tips and tools on how to kind of get this conscious mindset right away, is I talk a lot about the reacting versus responding. And reactionary methods come from anger, come from ego. We don't think it through. Responding comes from thinking it through, asking yourself questions. How can I show up better in this moment? Why am I triggered right here? Why am I getting angry? How did I show up in the past that I need to showcase different changes? How do I feel? And you actually embody this questioning dialogue before you actually just react and say whatever it is that you want, because words isn't something that you can take back. A man that has good composure and really proceeds with integrity can really master a conscious mindset, because it's all about self-awareness and versus self-management. So self-awareness is being open to the idea of what's coming in. So let's say that you are getting in an argument with one of your guy friends or even one of your girlfriends, but you're self-aware enough to know that they're coming from anger right now. So you're not going to attack them with anger. What you're going to do is try to be understanding and figure out why in the world are they angry in this situation. You're going to think it through. You might even actively listen instead of just chiming in to try to fix and fix and fix. What you're going to do is just actively listen, and then you're present. When you embody presence, this means that you can connect with your woman. And this means that you can connect better with people. And then self-management means that you manage the tools that you have. So let's just say you know your weaknesses and you know your strong points in life. Well, you're going to self-manage your strong points, obviously, because this is probably what makes you successful. This also helps you within life, helps your relationships, your family, whatever the case may be. You may also have some challenges, so some things that you have to work on. And in life, everybody has to work on something. So what is it that makes you fail? What is it that makes you have these challenges? And when we can understand and manage that as well and know our weak points, I should say, then we can really encourage ourselves. Okay, I know when someone acts off of anger, I want to explode. This is my weak point. I come and I just want to explode. I just react. Well, now you know. And when you get in those moments, you take a step and you might count back from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, recompose, and have that conscious mindset. Conscious mindset is an act and it takes time. It's not something that just happens overnight. You have to invest in your mindset in order to get better. I know this from experience. I used to have the worst mindset, and now I can control my mindset in a skip of a minute, to be honest. And it just came from years and years of practice. Next thing is they have a secure attachment style. I talk a lot about attachment styles in my Overcome Your Neediness, Attachments and Fears audio seminar. And a secure attachment style is someone that has a lot of, I can say, interdependence, I should say. There's a lot that goes on in secure attachment styles, but in this specific video, I want to talk about this. If someone has a strong sense of interdependence in a relationship, this means that they also embody their purpose in life. So let me explain to you what interdependence is, right? Interdependence in a relationship is where both people are mutually reliant on each other. It's a safe bond that partners can create, but still have their own identity with their hobbies, their purpose in life, their family, maybe even their friends. This is what interdependence is. It means that you can be strong in your own personal life and bring it also into relationships as well. So you have outside happiness besides just within your relationship only. Because if we have real happiness only dependent on someone or something besides our own oneness, then this is where we get really confused in life, where we start going down that negative spiral, maybe even of anxiety and depression, bad relationships, toxic relationships, because the key to life is really about being happy internally within you. And I think part of that is an art of letting go and seeing with compassion with other people and understanding that other people are trying to do their best in order in life and they're just showing up for who they are. And so we release those expectations in that moment. And going past this subject, but that's where we can really have a strong interdependence. And that's not to mean that you're a walking doormat when you have compassion for people, because you do have a strong a sense of dependence within yourself, and you have interdependence in your relationship. So a secure person has a secure attachment style, and a high quality man that has a secure attachment style doesn't really attach to women easily, knows that he is abundant and lives up to his life in abundance because he has outside happiness besides just within women. A lot of times I've seen great looking men seek validation from women all the time, and then they don't know why they can't get the one that they really like. And that's because of an anxious attachment style. And they're used to kind of getting what they want. But then once they finally get the woman that doesn't pay attention to them, then they want them as well. And so that is something that is not a high quality man. High quality man knows, maybe I've had so many men that have come from that and then redesigned the way they frame their relationships as dating women and had that security within themselves to really kind of identify what is it that they want from a woman, and really need, I should say, instead of want, what they really need from a woman and what standards she needs to embody in order to be with him. And the same thing should go vice versa. Next tip in regards to a high value man. And this goes into boundaries, and I talk a lot about this, is you want to be able to stand firm and secure within yourself. So you want to own it. If someone insults you and he's like, this woman says, "Oh, I hate your shirt. I don't like what you have on." And you just say, "Well, I'm sorry that you don't like what I have on, but actually I love it because my grandmother gave this to me, and my grandmother is my lucky charm. And she passed away actually 2 years ago, and this reminds me of her." You see what I mean? As long as we just understand that the way that we approach situations and not take defense to them, and we get defensive, the moment we get defensive is when we give that other person control. So what we have to do is become firm and secure within ourselves and just own whatever is happening in that situation. If you made a mistake, own up to it, and then show actionable things that will actually be able to change how you are changing and what embodied you to change, but also what happened in that moment that you needed to become firm, what happened in that moment that you needed to become secure. And this is where that awareness comes in as well, self-awareness. And then lastly, too, in regards to this, is you don't want to try to influence someone's perception of you, right? Because that comes from an egotistical standpoint. And I was kind of mentioned this in the video, is that a lot of times we put on a facade of, I have to be this typical guy. I have to act this certain way because this is what people are telling me to do. I honestly think the core elements of how you should always be as a human in general is, number one is have abundance in your life. Number two is have awareness. Number three is understand compassion. Number four is have courage. And number five is actually have willpower to do so, which is hand in hand with courage. And moving on, when we try to influence someone's perception of us, we give away the control dynamic that we embody, right? And so when we're trying to influence their perception of us, it actually takes more work to do so. And you'll actually get out of your element. It's called imposter syndrome, which I've talked about too. And I think that if we can let go of having idea of perfectionism or how I should be or how this guy is, or I want to get results and I got to do this tactic and I got to learn how to say this and I got to memorize this line. Yeah, these things do work in the beginning, but what other resources are you working on? If you're working on the fast result of remembering a line, okay, great, that's going to open the door. Perfect. I do it as well. I train you guys to remember these things and probably lines to pick up women, talk to women, whatever the case. But how about what do you do afterwards, right? And this is the substance of what I am talking about, guys. If we can embody this energetically, we can get exactly what it is that we want within women. Now let's get started. Trait number one is women love leadership skills in a man with a busy life. Now, don't get this misconstrued with a busy life. He's too busy to even have a relationship, but he's busy enough to be firm on what times that he's available to fit you in, because at the end of the day, we do like being a priority, but we don't like being the first priority in the attraction phase. So we want to see you established, meaning you don't have to be the richest guy, even though so many men think that you have to be, and oh, shame on you. But anyways, leadership skills are so important because it shows that you are powerful, that you know what you're talking about, and then you go after and conquer what it is that you want. And when you have a busy schedule, this also shows that your life is of value to yourself. So you're painting this picture of what your life is incredible that you've built for yourself, and the woman is wanting to see more about this, and it's intriguing to us. Trait number two. It's a little bit like number one, but you're passionate about something. So you talk about your passions. Maybe you are golfing and you're in a golf tournament or a golf club or whatever it is, you do something. And in the winter times, you go skiing actively. What is it that you're passionate about? And they talk about it. Trait number three, someone that might not even know that he's hot. Okay. So men, here is a little bit of inside details for you. If you play the card of I'm not even that hot, meaning not coming from a place of bashing yourself because you're not hot, you don't say this out loud, but you give off the vibe that it's not always about your looks. And at the end of the day, you don't put your looks first and you don't put yourself on a pedestal and you don't even know that you're really that hot. But ultimately, the girl that looking at you thinks you're pretty damn fine. Next is you're opinionated. Okay, so you have two different things that go on here. And I want to be clear about this. You are the type of man that is opinionated, but not respectful. That's not what I mean. You're a man that is opinionated in your beliefs and maybe whatever it is that comes to fruition for whatever conversation is happening in that particular moment. But your dialogue and how you communicate your opinion is respectful of others. You're not always saying yes, and you tend to disagree or agree when the time feels right for you because you are holding yourself to a standard. Next is you take things slow. All right, women love when men take things slow. And the reason being is because it shows us that you're invested in trying to get to know us, but also it doesn't give us the red flags that you are going hot and heavy too soon, which I've made a video about, and I'll put that in my video card above if this is something that you dive into relationships and get hot and heavy very fast. But this is complete opposite. Is you take time to get to know this woman, you plan out dates and you get her excited to see you, meaning you're busy all week, but Friday night is the time that you're going to be able to see each other because of the fact that you've made plans. And you focus on that and you pay attention and you take things slow, because at the end of the day, you know that this woman has to prove herself to you in order so she can have you, and the same thing vice versa. Next, this is significant, and this was one of mine, is a decisive male. Someone that is decisive and knows what the plans are. Meaning, doesn't go back and forth with you and spends a lot of energy saying, no, what do you want to do? No, what do you want to do? No, what do you want to do? Instead, like I always say, especially in my ebook, The 7 Common Mistakes That Men Make, ebook that I've gotten, and I'll put it in the description box below, I always say to give a woman options. And I also talk about this in my online dating success manual for men, and I'll put that description in the box below. But this is something that is so important. And when you've come off as an indecisive male, then this is something that does not align to a woman, and she kind of can start thinking that you're a little flaky. So decisiveness shows a lot of power, and women are attracted to power. Next is you're stylish or you're just put together. You don't have to be the nicest fashion styled scent guy and you know fashion like one-on-one, but you do have to know a type of fashion trends that are going on and kind of align a style with who you are. I help you a lot. If you follow me on my Instagram, I help you a lot with style. I give you ideas, I give you clues on what to do, and I change up style depending on your personality type. So I'm not always focused on one-minded style. I do a lot. So if that is something that interests you, don't forget to check me out on Instagram, because that's what I do for you men. Next is they talk in a deep voice. Women love that deep voice. They don't love a man that is insecure in his words and is not confident on how he comes off. So when you do a deep voice, this means that you're confident in what you give off. I tried to do a deep voice. That was really awkward. Anyways. Next is they have a little stubble where they can just grow out a little bit of a beard, and they find that pretty attractive. A lot of women find this attractive, and we call it, like the 5 o'clock shadow or something like that, I think it's called. So stubble is really, really nice if it's something that you can do. And if not, don't worry about it. You have other things that you can do. Next, this is my idea, because I don't care who you are. If you have the cutest dog and I'm walking by you, you will be sure to know that I will come up to you and I will start chatting it up and talking to your dog and petting your dog and talking about you. And then all of a sudden I'm having a full-on conversation and I know your life story. That's just me. But at the end of the day, women love pets. They love dogs and they love cats. So it's so important, if you are an animal lover and you have the time, maybe it's time to invest in a dog, because especially if it's hard for you to meet women, and if you're an introvert, which I've done a video about, and I'll put that up there, how to approach a woman if you're an introvert. But this can really open up the avenue for a woman to approach you is by having a dog. Next, which is one of my personal favorites besides a dog, is you are smart and full of knowledge. Man, is there nothing bigger than a turn on than a man that I can learn from, that can give me mental stimulation, where I can go back and forth with him, where he gets what I'm saying, he understands what I'm saying, and at the end of the day, he challenges me to learn more. This is significant. And the way you can do this is just by research online. Online, we have everything at our fingertips, reading books, entering in classes, enrolling in workshops, whatever it is. That is so important, men. So if you have this, use it to your capability, because let me tell you, nerds are in. Next is he owns his lacks. Okay, so I had a client one time be so ashamed that he had gray hair, like salt and pepper hair, because he was only in his late 30s, and he said that he looked older. And I told him to send me a photo. Totally did not look older. It's all in your perspective, and it's about how you own it. So he used his gray hair as a lack quality when it was actually something pretty damn cool, because a lot of men don't experience this, and he could use this to his advantage. A lot of women don't look at that, and at the end of the day, it's pretty damn sexy. So bald, white hair, whatever it is, Own it, because that's the true confidence that shines. Next is a pair of nice socks. You know when a man sits down and then his leg goes up and you see a pair of nice socks? Well, I mean, maybe not you guys, but we women do. I'm talking to you, like if it's women, getting a little carried away with the socks, because you can tell how much that drives a woman. I am getting so caught up in this socks thing, but if your sock game is strong, then you've got something working for you. Next is your smell. Ooh, I talk about this so much in the attraction handbook that I've actually made. And smell is so important because it leaves a lasting impression, and it leaves a memory of you in this woman's mind for longer when you leave. It's so important. A next trait is your hands. Are they well polished? Are they too short nails? Are you biting them all the time? This is something that is so important. I talk about in my 2 weeks to get her now program, because of the fact that it can come off that you're nervous and fidgety if your nails are always being picked at and you're picking at them in front of her. So your hands are huge to women. At the end of the day, women do look at this. I know it sounds funny, but it's the truth. Next is an adventurous man. Like, what is it that you do? What is it adventurous about your life? You might have the suckiest job in the world, let's just be honest, but don't focus on that. What is it that you do outside of your sucky job? What is it that you like to do? Do you like to hike? Do you like to go snorkeling? Are you a deep diver? Do you like to go diving in the ocean? What is it that you like to do? Fishing, whatever it is, an adventure of something is so attractive. And lastly, not only is confidence the big umbrella thing here, the umbrella answer of everything that women are attracted to, but also confidence comes with dignity. But the last but not least, as a man that is respectful to himself, to her, and to everybody around him, meaning even that waiter that serves you that glass of wine.
The man that you are alone and happy, and understand you're happy with you and don't need any outside distractions, superficial things to validate your existence. So what I mean by outside distractions or superficial things to validate your existence means toxic women or bad decisions like uses of alcohol, drugs, things like that, because this is what abuses you as an individual, and you can't show up as a person of dignity when you are already someone that it has some addictive behaviors, possibly because of alcohol or drug use or things like that. Now, I'm not saying that you're a bad person because of that, because there's a lot of times where people get addicted to certain things in life, and I understand. Trust me, I do, because I've been there myself. And one of the biggest things with self-love is turning these things into a reason, turning these things into a story of your life to become that stronger person. Because a lot of times what we do is when we're in the dumps, we stay there and we stay there and we stay there and we hope and we latch on to somebody else to get us out of this sorrow story, this bad environment we're in, or this depression or the state of sadness or the state of I'm not wanted. We then gravitate towards someone else to make us feel wanted. That's what I mean by superficial and outside distractions. And this is the biggest key just in general with life and everything, because a lot of people will think, why in the world would I even pay for a life coach? Why in the world would I even pay for a relationship or a love coach or a dating coach? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because in this century and in this world, we're living in a place where we need more life coaches. We need more good dating and relationship coaches that are going to be abundant and also care for the people that they are talking to. And I say this because we invest so much time in getting our career. We invest so much time in being a great parent, which is amazing. We invest so much time in making money so we can pay rent. We invest so much time in learning styles so we can look good. But what we don't do is invest time in learning how to love ourselves, learning how to have a great balanced relationship. Because especially if you never came from an environment where you've seen a relationship of your mom and father or whatever it is, sometimes people don't know. And we go into the world on something we don't know. We just don't know. And we go into broken relationship and we keep on wondering why. So this is why coaches and experts are so essential to your love and dating and relationship lives. I've had clients that book 1 hour with me and have done a 180 in their life off of 1 hour. And I get an email 2 months later showing me how much they've changed. And it's just so valuable. And this is part of self-love, is investing in you. And this we can lead into saying tip number 1 is investing in you, investing in reading books, investing in what makes you happy and turning from within, and stop doing things that will just put the Band-Aid on you and just eventually peel off. You got to get to the wound and you got to heal. And the worst thing about this is you got to feel the pain in order to heal, because if you don't feel the pain, then you're not going to know why you're healing, right? So a lot of people get stuck and they're just like, Apollonia, I can't be alone. I can't, like, I just have to talk to this girl. And even though this girl's so bad for him, and I'm like, no, you can't. You have to be okay with being alone. This is where you need the structure. This is where you need the discipline, because I can guarantee you one thing. Once you see the discipline and the structure that you have for yourself, after a couple days, you will see and you will rise above it, and you will be so much more stronger. So you're going to supply yourself with knowledge, meaning books, coach, motivational videos, going out to retreats, traveling, going on a boat, jet skiing, golfing, skiing, doing something that you love, and enjoying the time in the present moment with you. And the last tip on this about self-love is, and I'm going to go into the last tip here, but then we're going to talk a bit differently on why women love a man that has self-love for himself. So keep on watching. And the last thing here is self-love is so important for tip number 2 in really understanding who you are as a person, right? And don't be so shameful or guilty because you don't understand who you are right now. And you're 30 or 40 or 50 or 60, and you're just like, I can't believe I'm at this age, or I can't believe I just got out of this divorce, or I can't believe I'm going through college and I don't even know who I am. It takes years for people to sometimes know who they are, but at least you've already started by having those dialogues. So what I'm saying in tip 2 is you have to be in the present moment and stop tackling yourself with guilt and shame on top of guilt and shame. What do I mean by that? I can't believe that I am not in a better place and I'm 50 years old. You're already shaming yourself for where you are already. So you're stacking shame on shame, and this is not going to happen. So be more compassionate with yourself. Be in the present moment and stop trying to think about the what ifs if you did this differently in the past, and what will happen in the future. When you're okay with your present moment, your energy starts to magnify significantly, and you will get what you want. And the reason, lastly, why women love man with self-love, which I talk a lot about in my 7 Common Mistake ebook that men make when mastering their attraction skills, is when you master your self-love as a man, it's so hard to describe as a woman. We can look at a man and we know that he's confident with him because he's cheerful, he's positive, he's light. He's not trying to impress anybody, and he's authentic for who he is. He's authentic in his own being. He's comfortable with stating his opinion. He's comfortable with disagreeing and having open dialogue. And also, he's not wondering why this girl didn't call him back. He's just like, okay, if this girl doesn't call me back, then it is what it is. I'm going to move on, and I'm just going to show her that I am who I am, and if she comes to me, she comes to me. And eventually, a woman will understand this. A woman will see this. A very good, mature woman that you are looking for loves a man with a lot of self-love because he cares for him. And he does things that he's passionate about his life. He's probably going after his purpose. And when you are focused on you, someone else comes into your life that is qualified, that you can learn from, that she can learn from, and you start to attract this magnetic relationship that the both of you can progress in life in and fulfill a purpose together, if that is your goal. And once you're aligned mentally and say, I don't need women, and you can say, I don't need women, I just need myself, women will flock to you. This is the mindset of a confident male that I talk about all the time. If you have trouble with your confidence or need more specific help with this, I really encourage you, because this is something that I love doing with my men clients, is to book a coaching session with me so we can talk about this and I can really pinpoint where this is coming from, help you get more clarity and make your first steps towards self-love and just loving yourself to start attracting that healthy relationship into your life. Also too, I did build something for you. It's called my Master Your Confidence audio seminar, which is over an hour of just one-on-one audio seminar with me. And this is a 6-part seminar that I give to you that you can go back to and listen to and really do that self-coaching for yourself to get the confidence that you ultimately desire and want.
If you're looking for more incredible content that will change your life in dating and relationships, check out this video right over here. This is absolutely made for you. And also too, don't forget to download this free ebook down below. It's my 7 common mistake ebook that men make when attracting women in dating and relationships, and I have it specially for you. See you in the next video.